Welcome back into our overtime segment. We do this just about every week. Appreciate you joining us here on SportsSource.tv. As always, the overtime segment is brought to you by Jinx Logos. You didn't hear this tease during the program because I'm an idiot. Jinx Logos, though, we tell you about them every week. If you're looking for somebody to provide you with items that you can outfit your workers with, or that you can use as giveaways to clients, there's no better folks to call than Jinx Logos, and there's their number. All right. Today I want to ask, we talked about non-conference schedules in the show. We talked about conference schedules in the show. Let's get back to non-conference, and my question is, who would you schedule? If you're Dave Hart and you're at the University of Tennessee, what non-conference, home and home, or just one game off, whatever, who would you schedule on the Tennessee non-conference slate?
Georgia Tech.
All right. Mike
Start at Georgia Tech and go from there.
Well, Mike Strange is a huge fan of Georgia Tech, as am I. I think everybody here likes that one.
Yeah. Yep, and I think Georgia Tech, football is different because you can only work it into schedules, and they already played Georgia, so as much as you can, but I think Georgia Tech should be on every sport at Tennessee's schedule. You're 210 miles away from Atlanta.
It's your biggest alumni chapter, I think, is Atlanta.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, and it is a quality opponent. They might not be great in every sport every year, and Tennessee's not great in every sport every year, but I just think that's a quality name, and that's one that you would never have to ask forgiveness for scheduling.
Right, and it counts as a power opponent. I mean, it's not just name. But plus, as you mentioned during today's show, also gets you into Georgia, where you recruit from just about every sport. So Georgia Tech should be a no-brainer if Tennessee can get them on there. And I tell you, somebody that would applaud that is Johnny Majors, because when he played, that was, Georgia Tech was always on there. Then it came off the schedule. When he came back as coach, Georgia Tech went right back on there. Then the league expanded, Georgia Tech came off, and they haven't really been back since.
And plus you got that old-time Bobby Dodd connection, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got so much history there. Hey, looking at this, would you want to schedule based so your fans could maybe travel to the game? I mean, I would love to see Tennessee play UCLA, but obviously that's a long way to go.
No, but still, that's
a
great
good one.
Yeah, mine would really be right there with that would be Florida State. I just think that would just be a great series. I mean, you could travel fans from both teams. And Tennessee fans and Florida State fans, I found in being down there some, I think they really get along well. And it gets you into the state of Florida some for recruiting. Because Tennessee fans, Florida State fans both have a dislike for Florida.
That's right.
You know, I mean,
the enemy of hate they can share.
My enemy is my friend. All right, so Florida State is on the list. I agree with UCLA. For Tennessee, there's a lot of history in that as a meeting, 2-3 times per decade. That's a really good intersectional series. I mean, I'd like to see Tennessee play Southern Cal again at some point. But if given the choice between Southern Cal once in a blue moon or UCLA on a semi-regular, I'll take UCLA. I think that's a good matchup. Notre Dame, obviously Notre Dame. People would love to see Tennessee play Notre Dame in football.
Yeah. And Virginia Tech's coming, but that's one I'd like to see Tennessee get into, Virginia Tech, just simply because they got the bowl game appearance. Then they play in the Sugar Bowl. No, it was Virginia.
Right. Yes,
my memory didn't fail me for once on that show.
Peyton Manning played against them in his freshman year, 94 down in the Gator Bowl when it was played in Gainesville that year. And then they also played Virginia Tech and got clobbered, got plucked in the Chick-fil-A Bowl when Lane Kiffin was here.
You could have the battle of the UTs.
And one a little bit off the wall for me is Michigan.
Okay, I wanted to do this kind of one at a time where everybody's trying to jump their whole list in there. So you got Michigan on the list. All right, and you want Texas on the list?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great game.
We're
quickly like the Cotton Bowl.
Okay,
matchup.
we're going to do votes here in a minute because we got too many. I think Ohio State. That's, to me, it's 5.5 hour drive. Yeah. That's easy. Those I've lived in both cities. That would be a great experience for both fan bases. The inside the stadium stuff, I think Tennessee owns it. The outside the stadium stuff, I think Ohio State owns it. I think both fan bases would love that, and it's an easy drive. Anybody else you'd put on there?
I like what you do with history and the fact that Tulane, I think, would be a wonderful addition. I also think North Carolina, when you look at how many times they played for quite some time, I think that would be a nice return. And that's why it was doubly disappointing when Tennessee bought its way out of that game, is because there's a historic sense to the Tennessee-North Carolina rivalry.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9. All right, let's pick the top 3. Texas, Michigan, Virginia Tech. Everybody stop me when you say, that's top 3. Texas, Michigan, Virginia Tech.
I'm going to go Virginia Tech would be top 3 in my book.
Okay. Does not get the consensus vote. UCLA.
Yes.
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 Okay, UCLA. Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yes.
And
No,
Georgia
I
Tech
mean,
being the
I'm-
third.
I want to see Ohio State. Not going to get unanimous. Florida State.
Yes.
Tulane.
Tulane would get a vote.
All right. North Carolina.
See, I'm voting
Okay.
for more than 3.
All right. So
Yes, I vote for everybody.
all right. So UCLA, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. That's our.
And
yes,
that would
that
be
would be
that
mine.
would be that would be if you were selecting from that bunch over a 12, 15-year period, and they kept coming and going. That would be fantastic.
I agree. All right. And who knows when you start doing this when it goes to the Power 5, who knows how the scheduling is going to shape up. So
Yeah.
it may be that you see certain teams more often, the non-conference teams, than you do now. I mean, I don't know if you'll continue to play Oregon, then Oklahoma. It may turn into we got a rotation of 3 teams from the ACC that we do.
Would anybody have fun though if you were just rotating in teams that you never saw, you never think of? I mean, Arizona State, Washington, those kind of people that you just you saw them once and then they disappeared again. But that might be kind of fun too. But if I had to pick between the two, Georgia Tech, UCLA, and Notre Dame, that would be even more fun.
And other than the you have to in the bowl games, I think the SEC and the Big Ten need to be playing each other more. I mean, you see Tennessee and Michigan have. I mean, there's so many of those rivalries that have been playing for over a century, and yet they've hardly even played each other.
Tennessee's played Ohio State once and played Michigan once. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely
is. I mean, it
pathetic.
really is.
In Texas, they've met only in bowls. Oklahoma, they're about to rectify that this year, although I don't know how much they're going to be happy about that after that one.
Rec is the key
maybe,
part of the
maybe in a couple of years
rectify.
when Oklahoma comes here, maybe that'll be a little bit better. All right, thanks for joining us on this overtime segment. We'll see you next week on the Sports Source. We're going to be 11:35 p.m. next Sunday due to the World Cup. Same on the 22nd. June 29th, we'll be back right here on Channel 6 and also right here on SportsSource.tv on the 29th. Thank you, and we will see you then.